The cooking oil sitting in your kitchen right now was most likely extracted using hexane, a chemical solvent derived from petroleum, the same base compound found in gasoline, and you are putting it on your food every single day. The American cooking oil market is worth over $11 billion a year. $11 billion. And the vast majority of that money goes toward products that have been chemically stripped, bleached, and deodorized until there is nothing left but a cheap, nutritionally dead liquid sitting inside a pretty bottle with a heart on the label. The labels say heart healthy. The labels say pure. The labels say natural. But the processing methods and the ingredient lists tell a completely different story. Today, we are auditing 9 cooking oil brands. 5 of them failed the investigation, and you are almost certainly using at least one of them right now. But 4 brands actually survived, and the last one on the list might genuinely surprise you. I spent over 40 hours auditing every major cooking oil brand on the shelf to find the truth, and the results were not what I expected. Here is how the cooking oil industry keeps its margins massive while keeping your oil cheap. It starts with extraction. To cold press 1 liter of extra virgin olive oil, you need roughly 5 to 7 kilograms of olives. Those olives cost approximately $12. That is $12 in raw materials alone, before bottling, shipping, marketing, or profit. And cold pressing only yields about 60 to 70% of the available oil in the fruit. Now here is what the industry figured out. If you use hexane, a chemical solvent, you can extract up to 99% of the oil from any seed, nut, or grain. The raw material cost drops to pennies per liter. The yield triples, and the profit margin explodes. But hexane extracted oil tastes terrible. It smells rancid. It looks dark and unappetizing. So the industry developed a 3-step chemical cleaning process called RBD: refining, bleaching, and deodorizing. They literally strip the oil of everything: the color, the flavor, the smell, and critically, any evidence that the oil was already going bad before it ever reached the bottle. Then there is the legal architecture that protects it all. The FDA allows any product to claim 0 grams trans fat as long as it contains less than 0.5 grams per serving. Since a serving of cooking oil is just 1 tablespoon, a full bottle can contain meaningful levels of trans fats while legally printing 0 on the nutrition label. The term light olive oil does not mean lower calories. It means the oil has been so heavily refined that it lost its color and flavor. But consumers see the word light and think diet. That is not an accident. That is a strategy. And then there is the import fraud problem. A landmark study from the University of California, Davis tested imported extra virgin olive oils and found that 69% of them failed to meet the extra virgin standard. 69%. The USDA grading system for olive oil is voluntary, and enforcement on imports is virtually non-existent. You are trusting a label that no one is verifying. The skip list: 5 oils to avoid. Oil 1, Crisco vegetable oil, flip the bottle. The ingredient list on Crisco vegetable oil reads soybean oil. That is it. 100% soybean oil marketed under the friendly, wholesome term vegetable. There are no vegetables in the bottle. Soybeans are a legume, and the oil is extracted using hexane and then run through full RBD processing until every trace of its original identity is gone. The omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in soybean oil is roughly 7:1. Chronic excess omega-6 consumption is linked to systemic inflammation throughout the body, but the front of the bottle says heart-healthy cooking. The ingredient list and the processing method tell a very different story. Crisco has a long history of marketing industrial fats as health foods. Their original vegetable shortening was promoted as superior to butter for decades before the trans fat crisis forced a complete reformulation. The playbook has not changed, only the product has. Oil 2, Wesson canola oil. Wesson markets its canola oil as 100% natural. In 2017, a class action lawsuit was filed against Wesson's former parent company, Conagra, alleging that calling a hexane-extracted, chemically refined oil natural was deceptive and misleading. Conagra settled the lawsuit and later sold the entire brand to Richardson International. Here's the irony: raw canola seeds actually contain a decent omega-3 profile, but the hexane extraction and full RBD processing destroy those benefits entirely before the oil ever reaches the bottle. You are paying for the ghost of a healthy oil. The nutrition was chemically removed during manufacturing, and what is left is a clear, odorless liquid with no meaningful nutritional value. The label says natural. The process is anything but. Oil 3, Bertolli olive oil, classic and light varieties. This is a masterclass in branding. Bertolli wraps itself in Italian imagery, rustic fonts, terracotta colors, and Mediterranean landscapes. But the company is owned by De Oleo, a massive Spanish conglomerate that operates at industrial scale. In 2010, Bertolli was among the brands flagged in the University of California Davis study for failing to meet extra virgin olive oil standards. The oil being sold as premium Mediterranean quality was not passing basic authenticity testing. Their extra light variety is the worst offender. The word light does not mean fewer calories. It means the oil has been so heavily refined that it has a lighter color and a neutral flavor. It contains the exact same number of calories as every other olive oil on the shelf. But consumers see light and reach for it thinking they are making a healthier choice. That is not transparency. That is a labeling magic trick, and it works on millions of consumers every single day. Oil 4, Mazola corn. Oil Mazola has spent millions of dollars marketing a single claim, that corn oil contains plant sterols that can help reduce cholesterol. This claim is technically FDA approved, but it is a carefully constructed distraction from a much bigger problem. Corn oil has one of the highest omega-6 concentrations of any cooking oil on the market, with a ratio of approximately 46 to 1 omega-6 to omega-3. That is an inflammatory profile that no amount of plant sterols can realistically offset. And here is the part they do not advertise. Corn oil is extracted from corn germ, which is a byproduct of industrial corn milling. This is not a premium, carefully sourced ingredient. It is a waste product from another manufacturing process, repackaged and sold to you at a markup with a heart-healthy claim on the front label. The marketing says science. The ingredient list says industrial surplus. Oil 5, great value canola. Oil Walmart store brand is the cheapest cooking oil on the shelf, and the price tells you everything you need to know. At roughly $3 for 48 ounces, there is no room in that margin for quality sourcing, its careful extraction, or transparent supply chains. The label says, smart, healthy choice. But flip the bottle and look for information about where the canola was grown, how the oil was extracted, or what refining processes were used. You will find nothing. There is zero disclosure about the production method. When a brand tells you nothing about how their product was made, it is because the answer would not help them sell it. Read the fine print. There is none. And that silence is the loudest ingredient on the label. You do not need a laboratory to audit the cooking oils in your kitchen. You need a refrigerator, your nose, and 60 seconds. Test 1 is the fridge test. Take your bottle of extra virgin olive oil and place it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. Real extra virgin olive oil is high in monounsaturated fats and will become thick, cloudy, or partially solidified when chilled. If your oil stays completely clear and liquid after a full day in the fridge, it is likely refined, adulterated with cheaper seed oils, or both. This is the fastest authenticity test available, and it costs you nothing. Test 2 is the sniff and taste test. Open your olive oil and smell it. Genuine extra virgin olive oil should smell grassy, peppery, or fruity. If it smells like nothing, or if it has a faint odor of crayons or cardboard, it has either gone rancid or been over-refined to the point of being nutritionally dead. Now taste a small amount. Real extra virgin olive oil will produce a slight peppery burn at the back of your throat. That burn comes from oleocanthal, a natural anti-inflammatory compound. No burn means no oleocanthal, which means the oil has been processed beyond the point of any meaningful benefit. Test 3 is the harvest date check. Flip the bottle and look for a harvest date, not a best by date, a harvest date. Reputable olive oil producers print the harvest date because they want you to know the oil is fresh. If there is no harvest date anywhere on the bottle, that is a red flag. It means the producer does not want you thinking about when this oil was actually made. 3 tests, 60 seconds. They will tell you more about your oil than any marketing campaign ever will. The real list. 4 oils that passed Oil 1. Kirkland Signature Organic Extra Virgin Olive Oil. This is the value king of the entire list, and it comes from a place most people do not associate with premium olive oil or to Costco. Kirkland Signature Organic Extra Virgin Olive Oil is mechanically cold pressed with 0 chemical solvents. It is certified organic and has consistently passed third-party authenticity testing in years when other major imported brands were failing. The oil meets genuine extra virgin standards for acidity levels, peroxide values, and sensory profiles. The price is roughly $9 to $11 for 2 liters. That is significantly less per ounce than most of the oils on the skip list, and the quality is in a completely different category. Costco's enormous buying power allows them to negotiate directly with producers and cut out the middlemen who typically drive up costs without adding any value to the product. This is the proof that quality does not have to mean expensive. It just means buying from a company that actually cares about what is inside the bottle, not what is printed on the outside. Oil 2. Thrive. Market organic virgin coconut oil. Thrive Market sources their coconut oil from fresh coconut meat in the Philippines, not from dried copra, which is the industry standard for cheap coconut oil production. Dried copra requires chemical refining to become edible. Fresh coconut meat can be cold pressed directly into oil, preserving the natural flavor, aroma, and medium chain triglycerides that make coconut oil beneficial in the first place. This oil is certified organic and fair trade, meaning the farmers who grow the coconuts are paid equitably, and the supply chain is transparent from farm to bottle. At approximately $8 for 14 ounces, it is priced competitive with mass market refined coconut oils that use full industrial processing. The difference is that Thrive Market publishes their sourcing and extraction methods. Most of their competitors do not. When two products sit at the same price point and one tells you exactly how it was made while the other says nothing, the choice should not be difficult. Oil 3, Chosen Foods, 100% pure avocado oil. The avocado oil market has a serious fraud problem, and most consumers have no idea it exists. A 2020 study from the University of California, Davis tested avocado oils purchased from major retailers across the country and found that 82% of them were either rancid before their printed expiration date or adulterated with cheaper oils like soybean or safflower. 82%. Chosen Foods was one of the few brands that actually passed. Their avocado oil is expeller press, meaning it uses mechanical pressure rather than chemical solvents to extract the oil. The avocados are sourced from Mexico through a traceable, verified supply chain. At roughly $9 for 16.9 ounces, it is not the cheapest option on the shelf. But in a market where 82% of competitors are selling you something other than what the label claims, paying a small premium for a product that actually is what it says it is, that is not a luxury. That is common sense. Oil 4. Wildly organic, cold, pressed coconut oil. This is the small batch pick on the list. Wildly Organic produces their coconut oil in small runs from fresh coconuts in the Philippines using traditional cold press methods. No hexane, no RBD processing, no compromise on the extraction method regardless of batch size or market pressure. What sets this brand apart is verification. Wildly Organic publishes third-party lab results for their products. You can see the exact fatty acid profile, moisture content, and purity metrics for the oil you are buying before you buy it. In an industry built on opacity and vague label claims, a brand that shows you the lab results is a brand that has nothing to hide. At approximately $12 for 14 ounces, it is the most expensive option on this list. But when you are paying for proof instead of promises, and when you can verify every claim with published data, that premium is not a markup. It is the cost of transparency. 9 oils, 5 failed, 4 passed. And the difference between them is not taste, not packaging, and not price. It is honesty. The oils on the skip list are not health products. They are industrial products with health labels, built on hexane extraction, chemical deodorizing, and legal loopholes designed to keep you uninformed and paying full price for a fraction of the quality. The oils on the real list prove that it does not have to be this way. Cold press methods, transparent sourcing, published lab results, and founder stories rooted in frustration with the exact system the skip list profits from. Your health is not a commodity for these corporations to optimize. Your grocery budget is not their margin to exploit, and your trust is not theirs to manufacture with label tricks, heart-healthy stamps, and Italian imagery on a bottle of chemically refined oil. The food industry lies because you let them. Subscribe to Taste It and Test It because you have the right to know what is really in your food.